maybe tired of taking 15 pills a day and having side effects. So I think there's a renewed interest in plant-based medicine. It works. It worked for thousands of years. We use the same traditional recipes that were used for thousands of years, and it still works today. So people are interested in learning how can they be empowered to take better control of their health and that sort of thing.
And this sounds like it's a good first stop for a lot of people if they're curious of maybe how to use herbal medicines. This is a good place to gain a lot of knowledge in just a couple hours' time.
It is. You're absolutely right. This is a really good starting place. And even we get repeat people from year to year because they enjoy it so much. And we choose a different topic each year to talk about or focus on. But nonetheless, the format is pretty much the same, and it's a great introduction to herbal remedies and herbal medicine.
And how did the idea for the workshop come about?
Good question. Actually, 5 years ago, FoodWorks approached us and said, we'd love for you to do a workshop at your farm. And I said, great. So I worked with Adrian, who at the time was the coordinator for the FoodWorks outreach, and we put together this workshop, and it was so well received that we just do it every year now.
And what is the overarching theme for this year's workshop?
The overarching theme is build your herbal medicine kit. So what are some day-to-day herbs that you can look at for boosting your immune system, for bug bites, for first aid, for dealing with allergies, for dealing with coughs and colds? What are some of the everyday herbal remedies that people can use and kind of keep in their herbal remedy kit?
And so people, when they leave, they'll leave with an herbal remedy kit that they can put into place immediately following the workshop, or maybe that's the hope.
Right. The idea is to give them everybody's different, so people might choose different things, but we are assembling an actual first aid herbal remedy kit that we will be giving away.
Oh, wow.
So one of the lucky participants will actually walk away with a first aid herbal remedy kit.
And for first-timers, are there common questions that are kind of reoccurring at each workshop that you offer?
Yeah, very much so. I think, in terms of the plants themselves, I think just having the visual of seeing the plant in the ground, observing, we also demonstrate how we make a tincture and how we make an infused oil. So people are always curious about, like, how do you get that plant into medicine form? And that's a very common question that people have. I think also a common question is, can I take herbal medicine if I'm on other medication? That's a very common question as well. That one really healthcare practitioners should answer for each individual because everybody's case is different. But people are looking for ways to transition from allopathic medicine to plant-based medicine. So we do address many of those questions.
And do you have a particular target audience for this program, or is it open to everyone, any age?
It is open to everyone at any age. We always love having young people and students there. There is a student rate. There's a discounted rate for $10 if people register in advance for students. And then also, we probably get a lot of, I would say, 30 to 60-year-olds, if you will. People that have lived long enough that they've maybe had a health crisis in their life, and they're really interested in learning more about this. And we even tell people that if they want to, they can bring their little ones with, because we offer child care. We don't necessarily publish that per se, but we know that sometimes it's hard for people to find child care, and so we have our teenagers in our community take care of your kids.
And I'm sure you've heard a lot of success stories, maybe someone who attends the workshop and is able to start using herbal remedies from whether pre-existing health conditions or just the common bug bite.
Right.
It must be pretty rewarding to hear these types of stories.
It really is, and sometimes it's rather immediate. We do a lot of farmers markets as well, so we get to interface directly with people. And just last week at the Cape Girardeau Farmers Market, a woman and her elderly mother approached the table and her mother obviously had very crippled arthritic hands. And I put a bunch of our inflammation pain relief oil on there. I can't stand seeing people in pain. And so we put this on her hand, and the daughter and mother walked away. And 45 minutes later, the daughter came back in tears, and she said, my mother, who has dementia, turned to me and said, I don't know what that lady put on my hands, but I have absolutely no pain in my hands. And it was very moving to see that, it can really help people.
And it's probably, this is just one of many stories that you hear each and every day.
Right. I've had people come back and say, I was on Z-Packs for my allergies, and I'm now taking stinging nettles, mullein, and milk thistle as a combination for my allergy relief, and I no longer need a Z-Pack.
And the herbal medicines have to be better for your body.
Right. It's all natural. And I always tell people it's the same biology as our human body. We're made of the same materials. So naturally it's going to work with your body to heal. And some of the herbs are quite intelligent, frankly. Some of them are called adaptogens. So something like, for instance, yarrow as a tincture, if you take it internally for, say, menstrual cramping because you're not bleeding enough and your body is cramping, yarrow will actually promote the bleeding of your body. If you're bleeding too much, it will stop the bleeding of your body. So these are some of the intelligences of the plants, and also how it can very instinctively work with your body.
And the herbal remedies have to be more affordable than going to the pharmacy to get an actual prescription from one of your medical providers.
Right. They really are, and we really try to keep the pricing affordable. One tincture is $12, and oil is $13. It is very affordable, and we also are happy to help people learn how to do this themselves.
And I'm curious, just for personal information, in terms of some of these herbal remedies, I mean, if you buy one of the oils, how long does that last someone, or does it vary upon the person?
Sure. Of course, it varies somewhat on the person and how much they're using it. But for instance, a 1 ounce bottle of tincture, if somebody's taking it daily, a couple times a day, that may last for a month to 6 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah, the topical oils, a little bit of oil goes a long way. So if you're using it several times a day, you might go through it pretty quickly. We also make larger bottles of the topical oils for that purpose. But they can last, I would say, 4 to 6 weeks is not unusual.
And once again, if you're just now listening to Talk of the Town, we are talking to Terry Hickey, and we are discussing the upcoming medicine workshop at Dayempur Farm on Tuesday, June 19th from 5 to 7:30 p.m. Terry, what can you tell us about this great workshop?
I just want to encourage people to come because it's just, the farm is beautiful, the hospitality is great, and people will learn so much about herbal medicine and how they can be empowered to take care of their bodies and their families as well. And everyone will walk away with some new inspiration as to not only how they can work with this, but some new insight about their own health situation that hopefully will steer them into a natural health process.
And one thing I do want to point out, in addition to the great information a person will receive about herbal remedies, there's also a potluck dinner going on.
That's right. We always, the first year we did potluck because we didn't really know how many people were coming. Now we have a pretty good idea. There's going to be about 60 people there. But the potluck dinner was so much fun. Everybody brought their favorite recipes, and we provide a vegetarian soup and homemade organic bread from Town Square Market, and some cookies and some herbal teas. We provide the base, but people are welcome to bring a vegetarian dish of a salad or sweet or some kind of vegetable.
You're already making me hungry. It's too early to start thinking about lunch.
Right, exactly.
And if people are interested in learning more or even getting registered for this event, can they sign up in advance, or do they do that the day of? How does all that work?
We really encourage people to sign up in advance because we do have to cap it at 60, and we're over half the way there. People can register at Town Square Market in person, which is in Carbondale on Jackson Street. People can go to our website and register online. There's a big button on the front page, so you can't miss it. And people can also call us if neither of those work, 618-713-5996.
And where is Dayempur Farms located, in case someone isn't familiar with your location?
Dayempur Farm is in Anna. It's at 35 Nubbin Ridge Road in Anna. So it's just about 5 miles north of Anna off of 51. And yes, to answer your question earlier, people can come the day of, but we really encourage people to register in advance.
And what are you hoping the reaction is to this medicine workshop, maybe for a first-timer?
I'm hoping that people will learn that it's possible to take natural remedies for their ailments that are much more conducive to healing and less obstructive to their health. I think a lot of people suffer from side effects from their illnesses, as if their illness isn't enough of a problem, but then they have to go on medications that create all these side effects and long-term effects. And I'm really hoping that people will learn that if they eat well and they take plant-based medicine, that, you know, up to 98% of your ailments can be dealt with very naturally. And
that's a really high percentage.
Yeah, that's me throwing that out. That's not, you know, some scientific number, but I really feel that way. I think our diet is so important. Food is your first medicine, and plant-based medicine can help, you know, boost your health. And I just really hope people can learn to take back their health.
And maybe this is a difficult question to answer, but for someone who is really curious about trying herbal medicine, is it good to start with maybe one thing and then eventually change your whole routine? Or is it better just to cut off all your old medicines and go right into it?
Yeah, that's a really hard question to answer, really depending on what's going on. If people have heart issues or that sort of thing, you know, I definitely encourage them to discuss this with their practitioner. And actually one of the presenters that will be presenting that day is Susan Sani, who's an acupuncturist and a Chinese herbalist. And she's a really great practitioner that people could go to consult with on how to make that transition. You know, rarely should you cut anything off cold turkey, but it's up to, there are people that do it, and it's
seems really hard.
It's up to each individual, and really I think you have to have a certain confidence that you understand what's going on with your body. Plant-based medicine is very intuitive, and I think if people have a deeper understanding of what's going on with their own body and what's ailing them, they can take steps towards that remedy. And they can transition slowly if they want. Or, you know, for instance, like for allergies, I often will tell people, you know, take one of them, take a stinging nettles and see what effect that has on your body, and then add the mullein, or vice versa. You know, experiment with your body.
Right, because not everyone reacts the same way.
That's right, that's right.
And why is this medicine workshop something that you continue to offer each and every year?
You know, we have a real passion for education at Dayempur Farm. We really want to share what we've learned over the years. We really want to inspire people to grow their own medicine and grow their own food and do it in an organic, natural way. It's just such a pleasure to offer this to people because we love it so much and we believe in it so much. To be able to offer this in this way, it's just a beautiful evening to be together, and we enjoy the questions that people have, and there's a real camaraderie amongst the group on the evening of the event.
And if someone isn't able to attend the official workshop on Tuesday, June 19th, and they are still curious about these herbal remedies, how can they get in touch with you?
They can, our website has a lot of information on it. We have all of the herbs and what they can do. That's a starting place. I know not everybody has access to the web. We welcome phone calls. People can call us at 618-713-5996, and we're happy to answer any questions that we can. We do occasionally do the farmers market, and we do a fair number of events around the region. And also, our herbal remedies are in 25 stores across the region. We're in 6 states. We're in several locations in Kentucky. We're in Indiana, of course, Illinois, Missouri. So people can look up our products at those stores, and that's listed on our website as well. And also, there soon will be a list of natural healthcare practitioners on our website. One of the things that we find ourselves in the position of is really linking people with natural healthcare providers, because a lot of people want to do natural, but they don't know how to get there and who to work with and get started. Exactly. So that is something that we're building on our website, and then kind of culminates every year in the fall when we do our Women's Health Naturally Expo, which this year is November 3rd.
Right, and so stay tuned for more details on that. But once again, Terry Hickey talking about Herbal Medicine Workshop going on June 19th from 5 to 7:30 p.m. at Dayempur Farms in Anna. And anything else you'd like to add? One more time, your website so people can sign up for this great workshop.
Yeah, thank you. Our website is DayempurHerbals.com. That's spelled DAYEMPUR Herbals. People can register online. You can register at Town Square Market. Really encourage people to pre-register because we're filling up rather quickly. And please come and join us. It's a lovely evening, and you're sure to learn a lot.
Great. Thanks so much for joining me. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back after a few announcements.
Good morning. This is Alicia with the City of Carbondale here to bring you this week's calendar of events. On Saturday, June 16, 2018, it's Fresh Fitness. And the City of Carbondale has teamed up with the Carbondale Park District to host a series of fitness classes every Saturday during the Carbondale's Farmers Market in June and July. This Saturday's class will begin at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Turley Park. Experience is not required. Please wear comfortable clothes and bring a water bottle, towel, and/or yoga mat. A cash donation of $5 is suggested. If you have questions or would like more information, please call 618-559-1939. And for more information on this event and others, please visit our website at WDBX.org or CarbondaleTourism.org, or you can reach us by phone at 618-457-3226. Thank you and have a great week.
Welcome back. You're listening to Talk of the Town Radio on WDBX 91.1 FM Carbondale. I'm Amy Fox, and I'm joined here by Vamsi Mane with SIU. Thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
And we are talking Sunset Concert Series. It's hard to believe June is here and we're already talking about Sunset concerts.
Absolutely, yeah. It's always a fun time of the year. I look forward to this time of the year because it's a way to liven up the city and bring some flavor to the community. So it's always a fun time.
And this year is very special because it is the 40th anniversary of the Sunset Concerts. If you want to talk a little bit about what you have planned this year.
Yeah, absolutely. It is the 40th anniversary, and a couple of things I want to mention about this year's series. We are dedicating the series to a couple of our staff members that have worked to get the series started several years ago. So Don Castle and John Corker, who is the original founder of the series. Don was my predecessor and helped create the series. So we're dedicating this year's series to them in memoriam because they helped build this to what it is. But also because it's the 40th anniversary, we want people to get excited. So we found some sponsors to provide some giveaways to the attendees. So we're doing like koozies and cups to people that come to the shows.
They can utilize them at the Sunset Concerts.
Absolutely. Usually when people bring bottles, we say, hey, can you please put it in a cup? But now we can give that cup to them. So it's kind of fun. We do, want to thank the City of Carbondale, Carbondale Park District, Student Center, and Student Programming Council, who are really the committee that plans the series as well.
And with this being the 40th anniversary, do you have bigger bands and bigger groups that are coming to Carbondale this year?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about how we're going to bring that 40th anniversary into fruition, and we kind of talked about should we do local bands or should we bring bigger bands, but we kind of kept the recipe the same. So we're bringing bands. Some bands have a tie-in to the area. Like the band Be Easy has a member who's from the Carbondale area. One of the bands, Donovan Keith, he's got family in the St. Louis and Carbondale area. It just so happened that that's the way it turned out. Jungle Dogs were a band that we specifically picked because we wanted to introduce people to the Washington Street location and put a band on stage that people are familiar with, that people would be excited to see, that it's not, they're not touring commonly. So there's some thought behind how we pick the bands, but most of the bands are going to be your regional acts coming through the area.
And typically the Sunset concerts are held on kind of a rotating basis between Shryock, the steps of Shryock Auditorium on the campus of SIU, and then at Turley Park on the west side of Carbondale. But this year, as you mentioned, there is a new location in the mix, which is the Washington Street venue. Tell me a little bit about why you decided to add that particular location to the list.
Absolutely, yeah. We rotated between Turley and Shryock, but this year I think the city really wants to highlight, city's a partner, and we want to make sure that we have a venue that they're happy with as well. And so the city really did a lot of renovations and work to Main Street or the Strip to really highlight the businesses. And part of the initiative was to bring some of that community into downtown and see some of the changes they've made. And so Washington Street was in the mix. And it just so worked out this year, we one of the dates, there was a conflict, Shryock wasn't available, and so this was a perfect year for us to try this. So 12th and the 19th, we're going to be at the corner of Washington Street and Route 13.
And one of the really cool things about the Sunset Concert Series is you do have a variety of genre of music. So if you're not a rock and roll fan, you still have another type of music that maybe would connect with that particular person.
Yeah, absolutely. Variety is what we strive for. So we start with the first week is like soul punk, then we go to bluegrass, there's a little bit of pop, blues is always a highlight, and then we always end with reggae, and so we're kind of sticking to that formula with a good mix. Last couple of years we started introducing the community to like Mexican, Latino sounds, and so we're kind of continuing that theme as well. So one of our bands this year, Dos Santos, they're Latino, psychedelic cumbia, a little bit of Mexican folk song, so should be a good mix.
And one thing I want to point out, these concerts are free and open to anyone and everyone. What are some things that people need to keep in mind before they arrive to one of the Sunset concerts? Yeah,
it's a great point. Like, we want this series to be something family friendly, so in order to create that environment, we do tell them no glass bottles, so no kegs. We want everything to be single-serve containers. So if people are bringing alcohol, single-serve containers only. Underage drinking is something we don't want to see, and we do have our public safety staff members and our Sunset concerts, kind of Sunset walkers, monitoring that. But no solicitation, no pets, and no smoking are some of our rules that we have to adhere to.
Yes, and you do operate with a lot of volunteers, and I'm assuming that's something that if people have been to the Sunset concerts before, they've seen the people in the t-shirts walking around, but you can always use more volunteers.
Absolutely. This year, like, we're doing so much, like with our giveaways, and we're also selling our shirts this year again. So the shirts we have are really cool. Usually when the volunteers wear them, people really want that. And so we have like a vintage Ringer t-shirt. If they go to our website, they'll see it. We have a lot of fun elements to it, and we always want to continue to engage our community members and attendees. But yeah, always volunteers. They can go to our website, studentcenter.siu.edu. If they choose to volunteer, get some more information, that's a great place for that.
And what really do you hope the reaction is from these concerts? I know you usually have a really full crowd. It's a variety of ages, people from different locations throughout Southern Illinois, but really what keeps you doing it each and every year?
Biggest reason is we want people in the community and the campus to have fun in the summertime. Many think that the perception is there's not a whole lot going on, and so this is a great way to kind of debunk that myth and say there's always something fun going on. This is the longest standing tradition that we have, and people to have fun but also enjoy the music, and the music is the biggest draw, and it's a great way to kind of bring everybody together.
And also, Carbondale is very diverse, so there's a lot of different people that make up the community, but providing the different genres of music probably really helps out, but then too, exposing people to, different cultures and the different genres there's an educational component there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the thing is like one way to introduce that in a subtle way is like last couple of years when we've introduced bands that only spoke Spanish. People really liked it, actually. We were kind of skeptical to see how it would be received, but it's a great way to introduce something and test it out. And it's subtle, but it's also a great way to open the doors and open the eyes for the community members that may not go see a band that's a salsa band because they're just that's not their cup of tea. But then when they see it for free and they really enjoy it, and they're like, okay, maybe this is something that I could go to next time.
And the concerts kick off this Thursday, and they start at 7 p.m.?
7 p.m. And they go till 9 p.m.
Okay, so 7 to 9 p.m., and then these go through the end of July then?
End of July. Every Thursday, starting this Thursday, they end on July 26th.
And then there'll be a rotation as far as between the three venues.
Yes, and because the venues aren't, it's not a clean rotation, so Shryock, Turley, Washington, please visit our website to make sure you're going to the right venue. I'd hate for people to set up shop and realize it's the wrong venue.
Probably hear that frequently.
I know. So, but it's, they do rotate, so please pay attention to which venue we're going to be setting up that day. So,
and people encouraged to bring blankets, lawn chairs, make themselves comfortable.
Yeah.
It's always a really fun atmosphere. You'll see families come together and they bring dinner and listen to music and enjoy time together.
Grill out. Yeah, we want to see that too, and that's the kind of environment we're striving for.
And if people have questions or would like more information, how can they go about doing that?
So there's a couple of options. If they go to our Facebook page, the Student Center Facebook page, there's each week we're going to highlight the band with the music. And then in addition to that, our website, studentcenter.siu.edu /Sunset Concerts. They can get more information there as well. And yeah, pretty much they can... they should be seeing these posters around town as well, so hopefully the word is out.
And I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but you always have to consider weather whenever you're planning outdoor events. What does that policy look like for you folks?
Yeah, absolutely. So usually we try to get as much music in the evening as possible. So if there's a threat of rain and it's coming in at 7:30, then we'll start the show and we'll get 30 minutes of music in. And if it's bad enough that we need to shut the event down, we'll do that. But our plan is always to move forward with the show regardless of what the weather is, because it's an outdoor show. That's the whole concept that makes it successful. So pray for great weather, everybody, so that we have a fun. This is probably the one time of the year where I pay attention to weather more so than any other time of my life. So for these next 7 weeks.
And once again, Vamsi Mane with SIU in studio this morning talking about the kickoff of the Sunset Concert Series. And Vamsi, who do we have kicking things off this Thursday?
This is we have Down North. They're a band from Seattle, Washington. So they're coming all the way.
They're coming a long way.
They are. They are performing in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and so we were like, hey, can you guys come up and perform? And it just worked out. So this is a fun band, high energy. It's a great way to kick off the series, in my opinion.
And if people want to learn more, where can they go?
studentcenter.siu.edu.
All right, perfect. Anything else you'd like to add? Maybe I forgot to mention.
No, I think it's the 40th anniversary. The success of this event is really hinges on our community and students, and because of that, I want to thank all of the fans that have supported this series for the last 40 years. I say fans, but the community members, students, everybody that really comes out and attends these, please come out. We will be doing a moment of silence, 80 seconds of silence for John Corker and Don Castle this year, so I do want to mention that. So 40 seconds for each. In honor of the 40th anniversary for the legacy that they've created. So thank you for asking that too.
Yes. Lots of good information and very excited about the 2018 Summer Sunset Concert Series. It's hard to believe we're already talking about it.
I know. Summer's here. Summer's officially here when the sunsets kick off.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Vamsi. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. And thank you all for listening to Talk of the Town. We'll be right back here next week at 10 a.m. Have a great day.
Did you know that America's 20 richest people own more wealth than the bottom half of Americans combined?
Yes, and they also own our legislators and most of our media. As Louis Brandeis warned, we can either have democracy in this country or we can have great wealth concentrated in the hands of a few, but we can't have both.
Most media, because it's corporate-owned, won't talk about the class divide in the United States, but we do.
We analyze current events on Class Matters every Monday morning from 10:30 to 11.
We discuss matters of class because class matters.
Tell me, which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Support for WDBX comes from Cristado's Catering Cafe and Bake,